Ethical AI. Is it a tool for good?
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Doaa Taha. I am the Assistant Vice Chancellor of Harrisburg University of Science and Technology in Dubai. It is the fastest STEM university in the United States. I'll just let you know something about myself. So I am also an entrepreneur. I own a company called Grey Matter International Consulting. As well, I am involved in civil rights back home in the United States. So we are here today. I'm just honored to be with this group of fantastic panelists and to talk about AI and ethical how is AI good ethically or not? Okay, so we have here with us, just a minute. We have Matt Hookings, the founder and CEO of Camelot Films, and we have Valerie Hawley, the director of corporate partnerships at the Sorbonne Center for Artificial Intelligence. We have also Modinos, the founder of Blockready, and we have Muneeb, Mushtaq, the co-founder and CEO of Airz.ai. So we have just heard from Mokshita and Jill about what it takes to build trust with emerging technologies based on responsible AI and respecting user data privacy and leveraging protection with blockchain. So our AIBC conference focuses this year more broadly on AI, blockchain, cryptocurrency, digital technologies, esports, and also on related regulatory imperatives. So in all of these aspects, ethics is relevant with the rise in all technologies of nefarious use and applications, from the mobilization of AI to enable more potent crime, cybercrime, to deepfakes in social media, to misuse in certain industrial technologies, etc. Of course, it all depends on how a technology is harnessed to its applications for good or to foster problems as in any other realm of human activity. It is clear that some of the antidotes to nefarious use lie within AI itself, and that it is clear that the elements such as blockchain have afforded technological tools toward transparent monitoring of data-driven transactions, even if there is no silver bullet to making digital technologies and AI a universal, safe, and ethical domain. AI is at the heart of the current technology revolution and is reshaping our world as we speak. So with all this in mind, I will just put the question of just how ethical AI is and if it is a tool for good to each of our panelists. We will start with you, Matt, a writer, producer, and an actor who has built a wealth of knowledge working with the film industry's top talent like Russell Crowe, Angelina Jolie, Michael Caine, and Tom Cruise. I'm already a fan. Matt, can you tell us how are you using AI in your field of filmmaking, and what is the impact it will have on the industry?
Sure. So AI, we're using it in our next film called The Lost Book of Creation, which got announced last week with Variety. And there's lots of tools that we're using at the moment to help develop the next stage into production. So we are using apps such as Midjourney and Storyboard.ai to really build the world of the film that we're creating. So it's very useful, it's very powerful, and what we're creating at the moment are sets, designs, costumes, makeup, everything. And because I've written the project, all the sort of ideas and everything are in my head, so it's very easy to transfer that, to a computer and adjust the prompts and, create exactly what I have in my brain. And then it'll still be passed on to the necessary team, but it's just cutting out that beginning bit and making sure that the world and the sets and the designs are exactly how I see them in my brain. And then you can transfer that to every department, whether it be costume, makeup, the directors, the cast, everyone. It gives a real visual deck that's like 60, 70 pages of the whole film, and that's all been created in AI. So it's pretty powerful. I'm enjoying the sort of process of working through it. So excited to see where we can go with it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, Valerie is a strategic technology leader with a knack for navigating complex issues and driving innovation in AI. So Valerie, can you please talk to us about regulations by risks and the best practice to ensure ethical AI?
Yes, so good morning. So I'm heading a Center of Excellence for AI for Sorbonne University in Abu Dhabi, as Doaa was saying earlier. And obviously, ethics and regulation is very much at the core of the AI community. So in terms of regulation, like for the GDPR, Europe is also leading the way. They have just, the AI Act has just been unanimously voted and accepted by the Council of EU Ministers on the 2nd of February 2024. So it's very recent. It's going into an application in 2026. And basically, this regulatory framework is based on regulating and the technology by risk. So what they have done is they're looking at usage of AI and evaluating the risk. If the risk is unacceptable, like for big infrastructure projects and the things, AI models that are actually putting at risk the life of human or putting in danger their fundamental rights, that would be an unacceptable risk, and that will be heavily regulated. And then you have high risk, limited risk, and minimal risk. And for these two lower categories, the text is saying that we don't need to regulate, but there is an imperative of transparency. And I think this framework is going to be widely accepted around the world because it's a way of not constraining innovation, but also protecting the users and the user of AI model. So when we talk about ethics, there is obviously the regulatory aspect, but ethics goes beyond regulation. And I think what we see now is very much some best practice being put in place by the big actors in the field. For example, Microsoft on its platform Azure, that has a lot of AI tools, has built a framework that is based on 6 principles. So the first one is fairness. It needs to be no bias in the data or in the model towards people. Inclusiveness, so that's again not forgetting any minorities and including everybody. The third one is privacy and safety. That has to do with the data, the privacy of data. Reliability and security, making sure that all these AI systems are protected, that they are protected against cyber attacks, and they are actually very reliable and secure. And the underlying principle, as always, are transparency. So the model need to be, humans are required to understand how the model works and how it has come to that decision. And the last one is accountability. So you see, what we see is that everywhere in the AI community, there is a set of best practice that is being put in place so that we make sure that the models are not going to be completely deviant and are going to stay in line. A model is never something that you put out and you never watch again. It's something that evolves with the time. So there are a lot of practices in terms of supervising or checking the model and seeing how it evolves and so on. And I think the panel, the keynote speaker talked about it before. It's this technique that is called reinforcement learning with human feedback. So with that techniques, we can actually educate the model in terms of human value, tell him if his response corresponds to a human value or not, and drive it to be more human-like. And that's the project that ChatGPT is now doing with their big large language model, which is what we call the alignment, which is all about aligning the model to human values and ethical values, obviously. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So next we will hear from Vas, the founder of Blockready, an educational platform that uses AI to help anyone entering the blockchain and cryptocurrency field to avoid pitfalls and to provide a structured path to their learning. Vas, we know that AI enhances the way that we learn, but what are the pros and cons of AI on education? And also how you deal with the challenges?
Thank you, and thank you everyone and for the organizers for having us here. So I've been in education for quite a few years, and in the age of AI, we definitely needed some development on the way we learn, right? And we at Blockready try to marry education with AI, because AI brings so many different advantages when it comes down to learning. And I will list a few of them and explain how I think AI revolutionizes the way we actually learn. The first one is personalization. We all have different styles and a different pace and a different way to consume information. So AI can actually detect and understand the best way for an individual to learn and be more effective when it comes down to the learning outcome. So that's number one. Number two is obviously the research behind putting together an educational program, a curriculum, or an online course. You can get AI to research every single trending topic, the most important discussed areas and ideas on the internet, because everything now is connected to the internet, in collaboration with perhaps SERP technologies, which is search engine result page optimization that Google provides, and have the AI decide what are the best topics and the best way to structure and categorize those topics in order to present an online curriculum that is really designed for best effective learning. So that's number two. Personalization was number one. Research was number two. Number three is, of course, content generation. So we know ChatGPT can create a lot of content on a specific topic, but with a little bit of a human intervention and a little bit of training, we can get AI systems to develop content that goes into courses and educational programs in a very specific way. We can train them to adhere to a curriculum. We can train them to specifically use the language we prefer. And we can actually get them to not just generate text, we can get them to generate anything that we'd like to put in that educational program that aids the learning experience, such as text-to-speech, which allows us to not just have a text generated, but translate it into different languages and even make sure that we make the course more accessible for people with learning difficulties, people with disabilities, and even people who speak different languages. We can translate that to any language we want. At the same time, we can create more things. We can create quizzes. We can create exams and assessments. We can create one-to-one simulations of AI, where you have your student and your tutor having a natural language discussion about a specific topic. We can get AI to understand if a student is lagging, if he's struggling with a specific topic, and adapt the way that it's presenting that material so they can help that student understand and and learn in a more effective way. So AI brings so many different advantages into education. Now, of course, there will be also challenges that we also have faced in Blockready in the way we develop this course using AI. The challenges are the ethical part, of course. We are dealing with information that perhaps are private, student data, information that we have to put inside those educational curriculums. So we need to ensure that whatever algorithm the AI is using is always controlled, is always adhering to privacy standards like GDPR. The other thing is about, of course, how to integrate the algorithm into existing systems, adoption, right? Even in university schools and even in professional certifications, there should be a controlled way to make sure that we use this AI. We don't want to have the algorithm uncontrollably designing some curriculum that is not adhering to our best practices. And finally, obviously, there is this kind of digital AI divide, I would say. What happens when we have all these advantages of AI coming into some of us that are able to have access to these educational programs? What happens to the ones that don't get access? Where is the divide there? How can we get everyone on board? And finally, we need to educate the educators. We need to make sure that the educators understand and have a say in the way that these algorithms will be used to generate those learning materials so that we, of course, come up with the right outcome. So from the ethical perspective, there's a lot of work to be done. We definitely need to involve the right stakeholders, but I think we're getting there, and that's what we're trying to do in Blockready.
Your words are music to my ears since we are in the same field. Well, our last star is Muneeb Mushtaq, a Canadian serial entrepreneur and AI wellness pioneer. He is currently the founder of Airz.ai, a groundbreaking company developing smart home fragrance technology aimed at enhancing well-being through scent. Interesting. Well, this venture is notably backed by the artist Drake Well, renowned therapist Marisa Peer, and others. So he's currently the CEO of a tech-enabled health and wellness venture. And since he is about health and wellness, we will ask him to fill us in about AI from the health and wellness perspective. Of course, it's a very hot topic, especially after COVID-19 era and the mental illnesses and all these things. Go ahead.
Hello, hello. Can everybody hear me? Yes? There we go, okay. Healthcare or health and wellness and AI is my passion. Thanks, Doaa, for an incredible introduction. So before we dive into it, I just want to share a little bit about what my company does so you get the background, the context of it. And for that, I just need a show of hands. Who owns candles here at home? Candles, diffusers, there we go. Think about it this way. So what cars, actually not even cars, I would say what Tesla did to horse cars is what our company Airz.ai is doing to the fragrance industry, because we feel that it's still in the Stone Age, right? And so for us, it was our passion to sort of understand what fragrances do to us, right? Like, you know, because it's connected to our olfactory system. So on the technical side, we have 5 senses. 4 of them are connected through our brain, and it's called thalamus, which is a relay. So anytime you have a touch, feel, sight, it goes to this relay, and then it sends the signal to the brain. For the sense of smell, it's connected through the olfactory bulb, which bypasses thalamus and goes straight to part of your membrane called amygdala and hippocampus. They're responsible for emotions and memories. And what we feel is that this sense of smell is something that can trigger an emotion, a memory so fast. And the aromatherapy, the ingredients that we see in essential oils have been around for thousands of years. And our passion came through how can we merge technology with age-old ingredients and, like, you know, this organic stuff that we have, right? So now imagine you walk into a room, and this room can change the whole environment based on your mood, based on time of the day, or even what's on your calendar. So it knows what's on your calendar. Let's just say you have to take a couple of Zoom calls, or you're working from your home office, so it adjusts the fragrance in order for you to be more productive. But then in the evening, it makes you feel relaxed, unwind, help you meditate. So that's the project we're working on. So it's very similar to how you have an espresso machine. You put a pod, and it creates this mood. Now, the way it ties into AI, which what we're passionate about, is that the mood is such a huge thing. Our emotions they play such a vital role in our daily life. Now imagine 70% of the decisions we take on daily basis are triggered by our emotions, by the mood we're in. What if we can influence this mood to ensure that, like, all the decisions that you're making are based on being on high energy, being on an uplifted mood rather than being stressed out, exhausted, or just like, not in the right mindset. So if we can trigger that emotion to be good, in the good mindset, to feel uplifted, to be relaxed and not have any anxiety, imagine the kind of life we all can live. So for those of you who are interested, our fragrances, so we have AI technology not only in our software side, where we're doing AI wellness coach, we're tracking the mood, and then we're doing API integrations from Apple Watch to, I'm wearing this Oura ring that tracks my sleep and all. So we do this traction and make sure that we can influence. So we don't only track your mood, we influence it to make it better. We're partners with one of the top fragrance houses in the world called Firmenich. And we're building AI-generated fragrances. So there is not even human intervention. They're generated by AI. So if you're interested in checking out those fragrances or talking more about it, feel free to come say hi to me afterwards. That's our passion. That's what we do. In terms of the ethical implementation of AI in health and wellness, I think it's one of the most critical industries where AI, first of all, is disrupting it heavily. So you look at the LMM models, which helps you in creating generative AI, irrelevant of what the input is. You can get output which is very similar to a human interpretation. So imagine it's replacing your nurses. It could replace the doctors taking all of the notes when you go visit them and actually comprehending even like, a lot of diagnosis as well. So the best practices around implementing AI ethically is so important, and I sit with a lot of experts in the industry. That is one of my passions, to talk about how we can sort of disrupt, use this technology for the good. And quite surprisingly, there is a lot of, contrary to other industries where it's in its very nascent stage, in health and wellness, it's actually growing really fast. If you look at WHO, they released a 40-point best practices for implementing it in healthcare to, most importantly, protect user privacy, because that's one of the most essential things, right? And we want to make sure that any patient, any user who's being opened up to like this specific technology have the privacy that they deserve. Number one, that, and then, of course, credible diagnosis is really important. We saw in the presentation earlier about the legal case that was disregarded by the court because ChatGPT just spit out any, different laws that were not even applicable. So how do you ensure the accuracy of the information that is coming out of this generative AI models? So for us, we're very excited. Like I mentioned, WHO, UNESCO has just released a white paper as well, highlighting the best practices. So we try our best, even though being a startup and getting into this industry, it's very important that you include that, integrate the ethical best practices from the get-go. It could be even media, could be the finance industry as well. I feel that the opportunity is massive, but it all comes down to how well it's being implemented. And I want to just quickly quote Warren Buffett over here. And I love his quote about when refrigerators, the person who invented the refrigerators, of course, this guy made a lot of money creating something that could now keep things cold, keep them fresh. But the main guy who made the money was the guy who created Coca-Cola, right? So it wasn't the refrigeration, but it was refrigerator, but the application of refrigeration. So we are at that stage where these models have been here, but we're yet to see the winners in this. And now we're seeing the big giants in the industry who are going to start taking these steps to hopefully implement AI in a very ethical way.
Thank you so much. So this question will be to everyone here. We have everyone on the panel with in different industry. So how it will affect the jobs in your certain industry, if it's applicable. So let's start with Matt.
So my industry, film, it's a little bit nervous because there's a lot of ways that it could affect jobs. You know, there was a video that came out recently. I've seen 2 AI videos. One was put together a 2-minute video of a couple walking through Japan in 1957, and it's snowing, and it just did it like that. So you don't need locations, you don't need people, you don't need sets, you don't need design, you don't need anything. So that side is, it's a little bit exciting, but it's also a little bit nervous, because if that takes over and becomes very good, it's one thing hearing about it, and then it's another thing seeing it, right? When you actually hear all the hype about AI, and then you see it in practice. A friend of mine sent me a text message the other day and said, you think you'll have a job soon? And he sent me the video of it was a guy in a room surrounded by cats talking to a cat king, all done in AI. And it looked brilliant. So in terms of jobs, I'm still on the very positive side in terms of the way I'm using AI to develop my project and everything that we're doing moving forward. But you know, there is a slight nervous side to where actors and filming and everything is just not going to be needed, because it's all going to be generated through a computer. Now, it will create lots of jobs, and it will create loads of tech guys to build what needs to be done. I think the only thing that helps my side is the strike recently that ended. They put in a lot of protection to help make sure that jobs stay and, you know, keep in certain areas. But, you know, I think you've just got to follow the trend and technology and just try and be ahead of it and, you know, support the things that are good, that are right and ethical, and then kind of go, well, wait there, no, we need, you know, human interaction for that, or human emotion. Otherwise, it's just, you know, we're all going to be zombies and, you know, computers in 10 years' time rather than feeling anything.
One quick note on this, the videos that they've seen, because this topic I love, do you think that the sentient aspect, you know, the emotional connection that a producer or somebody like a human being creating this video, you see that in AI implemented already?
Yeah, it was so good. I was shocked. First thing was shock.
Is that good?
It's that good, yeah. I mean, you know, a 2-minute video of a couple walking in Japan, snowing, in 1947. That would cost millions of dollars to do. And if you put famous people in it, you know, it's just crazy. So the first reaction was shock, and how good it was. And then it just depends. It depends how much we will know of it, right? It's the same as social media. Everything we see online, and a lot of it is not real, but we still kind of believe it and follow it. So it just depends. I hope that, you know, the human race is intelligent enough to realize that we need that human connection, that human emotion, and notice the difference between that and a computer. But I think it's getting so good so quickly. That's the nervous side of it.
Well,
do we have more time or no?
I think Olga's telling us that we don't have time anymore.
Sorry, we could go on
We're ready,
forever,
we can
right?
Well, thank you so much. This is really a very interesting point of view from everyone here. And unfortunately, we have to end that because we have to follow Olga. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry,
Thank you,
it was
everyone.
very
no
good.
Problem.
I mean, we could go on for another hour or two.
No. I know. It is very, very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you so
everyone.
much, everyone. Thanks.